welcome to the Underground, my little underground with Peter A.
It's My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. Today, we're going to talk up some great albums that are coming out that I'm so excited for. And a lot of these albums are coming out in June, and they're coming out very close to one another. And there's one album that's coming out this Friday that I'm very excited about to close out May. But right now, we're going to kick things off with Velvet Vision. And this is a project of Betty Taylor, and she's getting ready to put out her full-length album of Velvet Vision. It's called Together, and it's coming to us June the 30th. And I'm so happy for Betty. And when she came on My Little Underground early last year, she was getting ready to put together what will become Together. And I'm so excited she got it done, and she's been playing a ton of shows, both with Velvet Vision and her other band, the Little Tulips. So that's cool. And she recorded this album mostly in her apartment, and the lead single, Comfortable, it's out right now, and it's fantastic. It's so gorgeous and super catchy, and it's perfect for right now. And you can listen to the song and just feel the desert and feel the spaciousness of the arrangement, and it's perfect for the change of season because we are well into spring, about to hit summer, and I think Betty's music as Velvet Vision is the perfect music for that period, and year-round, but you can enjoy this in the dead of winter as well, but it's perfect for right now as the flowers are all blooming. So yeah, Together, coming out June the 30th, right in time for your 4th of July barbecues. This will be a perfect album for that. Right now, let's go out to Atlanta for Killer Mike. He has his first solo album in 11 years. It's called Michael. That's coming out June the 16th. And this is also the first non-LP produced Killer Mike project in 11 years. The last one being Rap Music back in 2012, and that jump-started what became Run the Jewels, which is still going strong. They're doing a string of 10th anniversary shows in the fall, which I'm very excited about. But the teasers to this new Killer Mike album, including the DJ Paul produced Talking That Shit and the RTJ team up with LP, Don't Let the Devil. And I just heard this recently. Motherless is the latest single to this album, and it's essentially a love letter to all the mothers in Killer Mike's life, including his late mother and grandmother. And it is outstanding, and it's really making me anticipate this new Killer Mike album because I've gotten so used to Run the Jewels over the last decade. I still am used to Run the Jewels, and I'm eagerly awaiting a new Run the Jewels project. But these singles are getting me very excited for this album, and including the first single that was released for this, Run, with Young Thug. And the first time I heard it, I didn't love it, and then I listened to it again, and now it's fine. It's pretty good. It's not as good as the other teasers that I just named, but it's fine. I'm really looking forward to this. And Foo Fighters, they just announced their new album, But Here We Are. It's coming out June the 2nd. This is the band's 11th album, and unfortunately the first album without Taylor Hawkins. And this will be the first non-Taylor Hawkins album from Foo Fighters since Color in the Shape way back in 1997, because Taylor joined in 98. And this album is about maneuvering grief. According to the band, this is brutally honest and emotionally raw response to everything Foo Fighters have endured recently. And the teaser singles, Rescued and Under You, speaks to that in volumes. And recently, this past Sunday, they did a Preparing Music for Concerts live stream, and they were essentially rehearsing songs to take on the road. It was a nice insight to Foo Fighters band practice, which I thought was extraordinary. And all the performances, of this stream was outstanding. To me, they're just as good as a live band as they've ever been. And the last time I saw them was at the Garden in 2021, Father's Day, which is interesting because most of the people in the band are fathers, so that's kind of cool. And speaking of which, during this live stream, Dave looked like a total dad. He had his flannel on and his glasses, and he looked like a father that just so happened to be a rock star. So it was cool. It was really nice. And also, it was really nice just to see Dave happy. Because the last time we saw Foo Fighters perform was at all those Taylor Hawkins tribute shows, and he was just openly weeping throughout most of those performances. And it was great to see him in a good place. And they also announced the drummer to replace Taylor Hawkins, at least on the road. It's going to be Josh Freese, and he played with Nine Inch Nails, Sublime, Devo, Sting, and so much more. I think to be a drummer of the Foo Fighters, your resume has to be eclectic, to say the least, because look who's the front man. You know, one of the most popular drummers of the last 30, 40 years of rock and roll. So I'm very happy to see Foo Fighters move on, even though there's, that wound is still there. It's probably never going to go away, but it's good to see this wound start to scab up in the best way. Dominic Sen, right here in New York City, she announced her sophomore album, Apparition. That's going to come out June the 9th, 1 week after the Foo Fighters, which is cool. And this album loosely follows the narrative of a creation myth. And Dominic Sen is no stranger to this kind of storytelling in her music, because her last album, Visitor, back in 2019, essentially tells the story of how Dominic Sen came into fruition. And the teasers to this album, including Prayer, which I'm just obsessed with, it's just potent pop music with full, rich production, and also has a lot of grace. One of my big issues with modern pop production is that there seems to be a need to just do the most, have overbearing, so many layers to it that are not needed. We need all this brass, all this instrumentation for no reason. I guess some people think the more stuff you pack into a song, the better, but that's not the case. I think Dominic Sen is taking that and just flushing it down the toilet, making nice, subtle, but full of life pop tunes that are just catchy and sweet and have tons of replay value, and they're not just overbearing. They're not overwhelming you. They're not trying to compete with all this loudness, all these loudness wars that are going on. Everyone's got to be loud and just explosive all the time. You don't need to do that. Last but not least, we have Water From Your Eyes. Their new album, Everyone's Crush, is coming out this Friday, May 26th. And it's their first album on Matador, and I'm so happy for them, because I first saw them play a garage out in Long Island back in 2018, which was not that long ago. Yeah, it was 5 years ago, but that's not that long ago. And it's crazy to see how now they're label mates with bands like Spoon, Queens of the Stone Age, Yo La Tengo, Pavement. They actually toured with Spoon last year, which is unbelievable. And some of the teasers to this album, including True Life, unbelievably catchy. The refrain especially, it'll get stuck in your head. It's still in my head right now as I'm speaking. And the disorienting but pleasant guitar riff throughout this tune is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And to say that this is a band to pay attention to is an understatement. Literally, this band is getting better every second. Every time they put out new stuff, it's an improvement over the last record. And I'm so happy to see that. I'm so happy to see a band as strange as Water From Your Eyes that's getting more and more attention as time goes on, which is incredible. And they are touring like crazy They're going on tour with Interpol soon. They're going, to Europe. And Nate is in another band too, My Idea. And that band is signed to Hardly Art, which is the sister label of Sub Pop. And that's insane. He's got 2 deals with 2 different projects. 2 big deals with 2 different projects. That's unbelievable. I'm so happy for this band. And Rachel's incredible too. So much personality and charisma. I love talking to them. They've been on My Little Underground a few times, and I hope to have them on soon. They're just a great chat, and they're so humble too, and they're unbelievably talented, and I'm so happy for all the attention that they're getting. So that's going to do it. This is a quick one. Just wanted to jump on here for a few minutes to share with you so many albums that I'm anticipating, because I wasn't able to do this show in January. Well, I wasn't really up to it because I was totally burnt out, and I was waiting for more. And honestly, there wasn't a ton of albums that were announced at the top of the year that I was anticipating. So I'm glad I waited to do this anticipation show, because there's been so many albums that have been announced that are coming out right next to each other that I just had to talk about. All right, I'm Peter A. Please follow My Little Underground on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at MLUpod. And also, I'll make a playlist for all of the artists that I just named, and that'll be in the episode description below. Happy listening. Don't stop discovering tunes, and I thank you for listening to My Little Underground, putting up with me for the past 5.5 years or so. All right, later days.
My Little Underground.